We told you about this crazy story out of Houston, Texas. A Houston Astros fan was attending a game and got into a little bit of trouble. And we're going to let her tell the story. We're honored to have with us from the Houston area, Teneea Tate. Teneea, what an honor to have you with us, and we appreciate you coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, well, let's just set the stage here. So you were going to the game. Were you going with your family? Tell me about that.
Yeah, I was headed to the game on Sunday with my two kids.
So you were going to the game, your two kids, and tell us what kind of a Trump T-shirt were you wearing?
Yes, I was wearing just a black T-shirt that said "Free Trump" on the front, and that was really the only thing that it had on it, just "Free Trump."
All right, so you're wearing this shirt. By the way, are you a big Astros fan? Have you been a longtime fan of the team?
I am. Yes, I am. I was actually I've been to multiple games and actually got to go to one of the World Series games a few years ago, so I am a huge fan.
Oh, wow. So you're at the game, and just like any other stadium these days, I guess you have to go through the security checkpoint. So tell me what happened. Take us through what happened when you tried to get into the stadium.
Sure. Yeah. So walking in to the stadium, you do have to, go through a security checkpoint. And I was with my kids, of course. One is 16 years old, one's 9. And we get up, to the security part, and the lady motions me to go into a separate line, which I thought was different because I had never had to do that with my kids, leave them in a different line. But, I did that and got up to the part where you put your belongings into the bin and they, pass it through the security kind of metal detector point. And there was a gentleman that stopped me, and he took the handheld metal detector and was kind of scanning it over my shirt multiple times. And I couldn't figure out, why it was taking as long as it was. And I remember kind of pressing down on my shirt and saying, there's nothing else on me. There's nothing in here. And he said, "I don't think it's that. I think it's your shirt." And I was kind of taken back because I was, I was thinking like they thought I had something metal on me, but,
right.
I certainly didn't. Then he called over another representative from the security team, and she came over and let me know that I wouldn't be able to enter with that shirt on. And so I was kind of like, well, what do you want me to do? I'm here with my kids. I don't, I'm not going to, I don't have another shirt. I do have a jacket, and so I agreed to put that on. And she let me know that she wanted me to keep that on the whole game. And she actually in front of me called somebody on the phone and let them know, what section I was in and that I was wearing a political shirt, and to keep an eye on me and make sure I had it on the whole game.
This is outrageous. Teneea, what was going through your mind? I would have been livid at that point.
Yeah, I was. It all kind of happened so fast. And, my ultimate goal that day was just to have a good, Sunday afternoon with my kids. So, it was, I look at the situation and I think, the normal me with, friends or somebody else would have probably acted a little differently. But because I was with them, I complied and I just, went on about my day. But still doesn't make it, doesn't make it right.
No, it doesn't. And you're a great lady, and you've got your kids there, and you want to, like you said, you want to enjoy yourself. I have to imagine though, that must have been weird knowing that somebody was probably monitoring you through the entire game.
Yes, and in fact I did. Houston's very hot here, so I got into the game and I did take my jacket off right when I sat down after I took the photos that you've probably seen circulating. I did take my jacket off and, walked by other folks in Minute Maid Park, and nobody said anything except for, "I like your shirt. I love your shirt. Where'd you get your shirt?" Those type of comments, but no other negative aspects of that the whole situation it was just at the security checkpoint.
You hear these reports all the time about Trump supporters coming under attack, or they're being singled out. What was that experience like for you when you had to experience it firsthand?
Yeah, I mean, you hear about it all the time. You see it on the news. I felt like it was a suppression of our freedom, our right to freedom of speech. I felt like I was, being discriminated against because of the shirt that I was wearing, and I pay a lot of money. I support the Astros, and I didn't see a problem with it. It wasn't vulgar, or didn't have any profanity on it, so I didn't see a problem.
Seems to me if you would have walked in there with a BLM shirt or a Pride shirt, they would not have batted an eyelash.
Well, yeah, and that's kind of my whole issue with this is there's a whole night designated to Pride, and whatever your beliefs are, that's fine, but there's Pride shirts everywhere, there's BLM shirts everywhere, and that's fine and great. But why it's the same thing? It's no different to me,
Have you heard? Have the Houston Astros, Minute Maid Park, has anybody reached out to you to apologize or make this right?
No, they have not.
Well, we've reached out, and I'm still waiting to hear back from them, but I don't think this is going away. And I have to imagine there are, we broadcast this show on Patriot Talk 920 in Houston. I have to imagine there are a lot of Trump supporters out there who are probably not going to be happy with the Astros, Tiana.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure.
All right, so let's talk about Trump for just a moment. How long have you been supporting the president, and why do you support the president?
Oh, I've been ever since he ran the first time. That's who I voted for. And the reason I support him is because really my beliefs and values align more with conservative principles, and he's authentic. He's the most competent choice we have for the leader of our country.
Teneea, real quick before we let you go, and I so much appreciate your time here, and I know all of our Houston listeners and our national audience as well. They're just livid over this. What did you tell your kids? Did you explain this? Did you have a conversation with your kids about this?
My daughter asked me when we were in the line after I had gotten through and put my jacket on. She goes, "What was that all about?" And my 9-year-old, he's kind of he's a 9-year-old boy, so he was kind of not really paying too much attention, but my daughter was very aware. And I talked to them about these things, but I didn't want to make it into a big deal. I was really just trying to enjoy the day with my children. So I just said, it was just about my shirt, but I'm going to cover it up and let's go in and let's enjoy the game.
All right. Well, and I'm glad you guys did. I'm so sorry you had to go through that. But again, I think you did the right thing, and it's important to speak out. You did it the right way. And you're right. We have pictures, folks, on our website. You can see the T-shirt, Free Trump. I mean, there's nothing profane or vulgar about it. And Teneea, we just wish you nothing but the best. And let's hope the Houston Astros and Minute Maid Park make this right.
Thank you. And thanks again for having me.
All right. Teneea Tate, ladies and gentlemen, a Houston Astros fan. And she, great business lady there in the Houston area. And her crime was wearing a Donald Trump T-shirt to a baseball game. And I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that if she was wearing a Pride flag T-shirt or a BLM T-shirt, that she would have been welcomed in, and shoot, they might have even put her up on the Jumbotron. So again, when you see these things, and she did the right thing here. She's a good person. She doesn't want to make a big scene about it, but we do need to talk about these things because we cannot allow this kind of discrimination to go on in America. All right, let's go to the phone lines. WTJS in West Tennessee, our great affiliate. That is Frankie Lax Country. Rad is on the line. All right, what do you think we ought to be doing here, and what should the Trump fans in Houston do?
I think every one of them ought to show up to the next game with their Trump attire on and send about 40,000 Trump supporters in there and just see what happens then with the security checkpoint.
I love this idea. This is a great idea. Love it.
Send them all. I would almost tell you that they were going to find out real quickly that the majority of their fans are Trump supporters.
Oh, no doubt about it. I know Houston. And look, Our listeners on 920 Patriot Talk, they carry the show. They're on delay, so they're not getting the live feed, which is why we don't get a lot of calls from the Houston area. But I can promise you this: they are going to be so fired up over this. I love this idea, Rad. Love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Enjoy your show. You're a good man.
Well, thank you for that, and thank you for listening to WTJS. We love our friends out there, Lacey Ennis, the great team out there bringing conservative talk radio to Western Tennessee. Rad says, you know what, Houston fans, show up at the next game, and everybody be wear the red MAGA ball caps, do a red out over at, or maybe an orange out. That's, I'm just saying.